a little cut off.
Setting up. Okay, let's get this going.
A little cut off.
Cord to the cloud. Mute this one. Okay, perfect. All right, I am going to start letting people in. We are recording, so let's see. Okay. Hello. Okay. I think people are getting their videos started. Feel free to turn on your video if you're comfortable. It'd be nice to see your faces. Hello.
Hi, John. Hi, Christine.
Hey, Chrissy.
Hello, hello. We have a few more people joining us, just getting all situated.
Wait.
Kenya's here. Hi, Kenya. Hi, Bill. Hi, Rebecca. Hi, Maya. Great to see you. Nancy and John. Wonderful to be together today.
Hello. Oh, we have some very nice nature in the background.
Yeah, Nancy and John are outside. Bill's in his studio, his office.
Excellent.
John, you've got some beautiful greenery behind you.
Catherine, does time goes fast in Spain as it does here in New Hampshire? Were we just on here?
Seems like it.
Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. I know we're still getting settled in, but just giving you a big welcome.
Thank you.
And if you don't have paper and pencil or pen, bring that in, please. You'll need it.
Feel free to shout out where you're joining from, if it's, somewhere that we might not know, or if you just want to introduce yourself. I'm Cleo, I'm in Los Angeles.
I'm Catherine, I'm in Mallorca, Spain.
I'm Bill. I'm in Ranby, Massachusetts.
Sheila. I'm in East Longmeadow, Massachusetts.
Hey, Sheila.
Hello.
Nancy
What?
Koppelman from East Winthrop, Maine.
Oh, you're in Maine.
Mhm.
John Drennan up here with the rest of those three. I'm in New Hampshire.
David
I'm
Thomas.
Christine. I'm in San Diego. Sheila's sister.
So great to see you,
Welcome,
Christine.
nice.
We have River in Denver, so yeah, we're really all over the place.
Really?
And Kenya, oh my goodness, amazing.
Wow, that's cool.
All right, well, thank you so much for being with us, and welcome to our monthly Sunday TLC with Living Whole. Catherine and David are joining us, obviously, from Mallorca today. And just to get us started, I will make sure everyone has pen and paper, something to write with. I have many notes scribbled, so ignore that. But today is our first of 3 sessions dedicated to exploring the theme of grace. David Thomas, Sheila Magalhaes, and Catherine will guide us on this theme through today's session and the one on August 30th. So it's a 2-parter. I'm doing this a bit differently from the past Sunday TLCs so that the flow of what they have to say and share with us can be unified, and that's sort of a whole experience. So I'm going to let you know what's going on and what's coming up now, to give you a sense of what you can look forward to in the coming month here. So today you can watch Catherine's story about her family's transition to whole food, plant-based diet. And in time for more summer parties coming up, check out Melanie Kano, MD's films about how to host a healthful plant-based party. And later in the month, her Joyful Meals and Happy Treats program. We have Neil Barnard and Catherine doing another Behind the Music series. This one will feature his song Nemesis. And leading up to our August 30th Sunday TLC, the second one in this series, there are two special yoga practices offered by Sheila, one for ease and balancing, and the other for cultivating gratitude. And there will be many more surprises as well on Living Whole Online. This today is meant to be an open conversation, so please write into the chat, raise your hand. I'll do my best to catch you, but make sure I can see if you have something that you want to add. We would love to hear your insights and wisdom. And these monthly gatherings are intended to be a space where we can grow and build our Living Whole Online community. So to get us started, I'm going to pass over the torch to Sheila, David, and Catherine. Before I do so, I will just say that if anyone has questions, I'm dropping our email in the chat. You can feel free to reach out to us there anytime. But let's see, I'm going to bring up the webinar, do some sharing, and do you guys want to say anything before we open it up, or shall I open it up?
Let's open it up.
Let's open it up. All right. So here we go. We have a webinar coming at you. Okay. All right.
Wonderful. Well, hello again. This is the first of 3 webinars focused on the theme of grace. Sheila, Catherine, and I have prepared a 2-part program for you. Part 1 is offered today and part 2 on August 30. And on September 27th, Jamie Champion will share Vibrancy Path thoughts about grace. When Sheila, Catherine, and I began reflecting on grace, our thoughts immediately expanded to the additional theme of grace under fire. So in both today's program and in August, we invite you to participate in conversation and experiences about these topics. And now, to begin, Sheila will help us ground and connect with one another.
Oh, Sheila, you're currently muted.
Yes, I am. All right. We have 2 very, very frisky dogs in the house today, so I've been trying to keep the noise at a minimum. So welcome everybody. I would just ask maybe for everyone to be muted at this point, and then unmute yourselves as soon as I'm done for conversations and connections, just so we can all be quiet together. And this is our welcoming and our centering and our arriving time. So I invite you all to take a really big breath in and let one out, and do that again. Take a deep breath in and let it out, and know that you are all most welcome here. Perhaps you can feel comfortable to close your eyes, settling into this moment, allowing your feet perhaps to rest on the floor, to soften your shoulders, and let your hands rest easily on your lap or knees. Gently allowing the breath to smoothly, sweetly enter, bringing life force, energy, prana, exit. Imagine releasing demands of the day. Anything ahead, everything you did in order to arrive here. Simply breathing in and breathing out. And know that in this moment, there's nowhere else you need to be, and nothing that you need to accomplish. And as we gather together, we're holding a simple truth. that the relationship we have with ourselves shapes the way that we meet each moment. And when we take time to honor what we truly need, we create space for wisdom, compassion, and ultimately grace. And perhaps this afternoon we can come to understand what grace might mean for each of us individually. And take a moment to notice what you might need today. Perhaps it's rest, maybe courage, maybe clarity, perhaps connection, or perhaps the simple permission to be exactly as you are. No right answer. Every journey will ask something of us. And the more we learn to recognize and care for our own needs, the more fully we can meet whatever lies ahead. So let's just sit quietly for a few moments, checking in, noticing, perhaps naming, smiling, and breathing that thought away, each as they occur. The breath is an anchor. No right, no wrong. Just what is. Each of us arriving with our own unique set of life experiences and stories, histories, our DNA, what's been offered and passed along from our ancestors. Again, just a soft and easy observation. And let the thoughts bubble up and rise like waves in the ocean. Falling away just as gently and easily. Keeping the face soft, the eyes soft, the breath might be a little deeper. Notice how it feels as it comes into the body and the way that the ribs expand and the diaphragm drops and rises. And that image of a baby in the womb being rocked by your breath, being held. In this moment for your own inner child. Invite in safety, nourishment, peace, and ease. Just breathe. Just breathe and be. Everything is okay. All is well. In this returning time, invite in courage to gently and without judgment, without shame or blame, observing those emotions, what's happening now, and often what's bubbling up is unresolved emotions, sometimes fear or anger or resentment. They're stored in the body. Acknowledging takes time and faith and even more courage, as we know these emotions are even passed down through generations. An awareness of this can empower individuals to make healthier choices. We can all address these emotional wounds as a key to breaking cycles of suffering and creating space for healing for ourselves, our ancestors, our children's children, and beyond. Quietly, gently, continuing to return, taking a deep breath in, exhaling as you slowly begin to flutter your eyes open. May we bring curiosity and presence to this gathering and carry with you as a reminder of what is the quality that you need today. What do you need today? Hands at the heart, we acknowledge each other and begin our conversation, open and receptive. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila.
Thank you, Sheila. You know, this beautiful image that you've given us is enhanced by this drawing. This drawing is by Maya Ibar, who's one of the founders of Living Whole. She's on the call today from France, from Biarritz, France. And it reminds us, as Sheila brought forward, of how each human begins. We begin in the womb of a woman, and attachment to mother comes from being bathed in the rhythm of her heartbeat and in her amniotic fluid and in her energy that is infused with all of her life force. A birthed child craves and yearns for continuing to have these physical and energetic experiences. And so the needs that we have throughout our lives are actually related to this early experience. They're related to that attachment, in that the child has needs that must be met by adults, and the child instinctively turns to the familiar presence of the mother as the preferred person to meet those needs. As the child grows into adulthood, the question arises, now who should meet my needs? The answer to this question influences greatly the choices that the person makes and how the person lives life, and is directly connected to today's theme on grace.
So please jot on your paper, just as a beginning here, what brings you to join a webinar about grace? And see if that sparks things that you can contribute to this conversation. To build on what we just experienced with Sheila and now Catherine, let's take a look at a short clip from the 2009 film Julie and Julia. Meryl Streep played Julia Child, and In this scene, she is starting cooking lessons at an exclusive chef school in Paris. As you watch this clip, please watch for what she needs and what the teacher and other students need. As you develop your ideas, please also write them down.
Madame, s'il vous plaît, laissez-moi. You must hold the knife first of all, like this. Oui, see, you the thumb here, and là, the hand and the knife are one. Eh? And the hand, the other hand, you must protect it. Yeah, you must cut only the onion. Yes?
Not me.
Yes. And then you put your thumb here, and the other fingers here.
Oui.
Joel? You're being a little over-competitive, don't you think?
Well, you should have seen the way those men looked at me. As if I was some frivolous housewife just looking for a way to kill time.
Well,
By looking at the film clip through the lens of what does each person in the film need, we take an uncommon approach to how we humans process tension, conflict, stress, and challenges. We take this uncommon approach as a way of inviting conversation about grace and grace under fire. The common human approach when we face problems is to delve right into the story. He said this, she did that. We say to someone, I am so angry, I am so upset. This just happened to me. When we tell this to a friend or we bring our issues to a therapist, we may say, can you believe this? We expect to be asked, tell me what happened. Then we embark on the story. Telling what happened depends greatly upon our own perspectives, and therefore may be very different from the way another person would tell the same story. That can take us down a long and winding road of he said, she said. Instead, let's go directly to what was needed and who should satisfy the need or needs. This much more efficiently gets to the root of what happened and helps us in our quest to place more grace in our lives, even when we are facing fire. Keep in mind your thoughts about what Julia needs and what the others in the scene need. Before we hear your impressions, we want to introduce you to a book Catherine wrote that is a useful tool in understanding our needs and developing a common language that benefits us in our relationships with ourselves and with others.
In 2013, I published a book called Odyssey Family Systems Companion Guide and updated it in 2019 and also translated into Spanish. The book's available on Amazon in paperback and digital. I wrote the book to accompany people in their work with me in my private Odyssey practice. And initially, I thought that its main usefulness would be there, which is why I call it a companion guide. Somebody needs to be muted.
Yes.
Let's see.
I'm not sure where that sound is coming from. Let's see.
Okay.
There we
The
go.
drawings throughout the webinar are from my book done by Maya Ibar, who's here with us today. I've been surprised to find that people who are not working with me in Odyssey also are drawn to the book. For the purposes of this webinar and the August 30 one, I offer it as one way to approach the project of developing a common understanding of what our needs are, who should satisfy them, and how that relates to grace and infusing our lives with more grace. So, based on this conversation so far, what is the most important quality we need to cultivate within ourselves in order to meet life's challenges with grace?
Maybe to be less reactive and more responsive,
Mm-hmm,
like a pause, learning how to have a pause.
mm-hmm.
Patience.
Patience, taking a pause. What, John?
Self-love.
Self-love.
Creating space around a issue or a situation.
Yeah.
Getting more information.
Yes. Being curious, asking for more.
I would say empathy.
Empathy. Uh-huh. Yeah. And all of this maybe can be summarized into we're learning to meet our own needs. We're able to respond to life's challenges with grace when we've taken care of our needs. Does anybody know what that background noise is?
Yeah, I'm so sorry, Beth. I'm just going to mute you because there seems to be background noise. So I'm just going to mute on your ends if you don't mind, just to adjust for that. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Cleo. We can go to the next slide, Cleo. This graphic of two trees from my book describes the Odyssey family system paradigm. And it was created by our colleague, Jack Temple, who's now a practicing physician in California. At its essence, this graphic is about each of us getting a clear understanding of how to take care of our needs. At first glance, you notice that there are two trees, one big one, one little one, and that they are rooted in ground that represents your essence of self. The small tree is the little self tree, and the large tree is the connecting up tree. We will get into the detail of this as we look at the needs of the main characters in the Julia Child film and two other film clips that are coming up. First, let's look at the parts of self who are active in the onion chopping clip.
So, what do you see that Julia needs in these two scenes?
You can unmute to offer what you think she needs.
Acceptance.
Yeah. What does she need in terms of acceptance, Bill?
I think it seemed to me that she was dismissed because she was a woman. And in those years, of course, she was supposed to be the homemaker and not necessarily a career builder or even becoming a chef, I suppose.
Yeah.
And she was fighting against that stereotype.
Yes, she was.
I would add that she, in addition to that, she was fighting her own sense of perfection and being a performer.
Uh-huh. What do you mean by that, Nancy?
Well, it was suddenly it was like, well, I just have to show them, and I just going to do all these onions, for example. And she was just in that, you could hear it in her voice, that just kind of like almost a panic thing. Like, I have to get this right and I have to prove myself.
Yeah. Yeah, panic was definitely one of the energies there, wasn't it?
Mm.
What about the teacher, the chef teacher, and all the male students? What was going on for them?
They were judge globalizers.
How so?
Well, they're she's not doing it the way, in the perfect way that they've that they approach it, and they're not supporting her in it. And I would add her husband to that too, in his kind of dismissal of what she's trying to do, trying to become, have the being able to do it the way it's supposed to be done.
Mm.
John, he didn't appreciate her for her trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't acknowledge how hard she was working in that pile of onions, and he walked away.
Yeah.
I think the tears from the onions had kind of a double meaning for both of them.
For sure.
Sheila, or Cleo, let's go to the next slide. So Sheila's beautiful opening helps us connect to the needs of every individual as experienced in the mother's womb. And these experiences create a deep yearning for attachment, for connection. We might consider that this is much more than a yearning. It's actually a biological requirement. And so the littlest self in the Odyssey paradigm represents this yearning, this biological requirement. And this drawing by Maya shows the littlest self being supported by a strong foundation, surrounded by loving, caring adults. The littlest self represents the part of us that expects that our needs are going to be satisfied by others. Your life's journey takes a particular trajectory if you've been born into a family where your mother took care of you well while you were in utero, where your family was excited about your arrival, and your basic needs for food and shelter and warmth and love were met. Your life's journey would have taken a very different trajectory if you were born into a family where your mother's experiences were stressful, terrifying, filled with uncertainty and anxiety while she was pregnant with you and after she gave birth to you. These experiences and many others informed you about how you fulfill your needs now. Your way of satisfying your needs now has everything to do with living your daily life with grace. And when you are under fire, responding with or without grace. We humans have many needs. What is the most important need of all?
Breathing.
Somebody say love? Did I
I
hear?
said love.
Love.
I
Love
heard
is
breathing as well.
it. Breathing is good. Yeah. Let's go to the next slide, Cleo. Unconditional love.
Oh,
Take a moment to connect your feet to the floor and your sitting bones to whatever surface you're on. And take one hand over your heart and the other hand over your lower belly. Breathe deeply and close your eyes. And with your eyes closed, breathe into these words as I say them to you.
Okay.
Unconditional love means I see you. I hear you. I love you for where you are in your journey and how you're doing your journey. Breathe and ask yourself, from whom do I expect to receive unconditional love? Breathe into that question and open your eyes and take a moment to jot down the names of the people by whom you expect to be seen, heard, and loved for where you are in your journey and how you are doing your journey. Did you write your own name on the list? If not, please add it. And Cleo, we can go to the next slide. A common experience in life is that of conditional love. We experience this when the interactions we have with people are transactional. The message is, I love you for what you do for me. I love you for what you give to me. In contrast to the security of the littlest self when it experiences unconditional love, conditional love feels very uncertain. Maya depicts this in this drawing as a net with holes in it. The needs of the littlest self are unchanged, same needs, but this experience creates feelings of urgency and desperate attempts to get someone else to meet our needs. These are really powerful drawings by Maya. Out of this desperation and urgency emerge feelings, and they are not good feelings. The feelings are pain, fear, shame, and along with these feelings arise beliefs and identities involving our self-worth and our self-lovability. Because the need comes from the littlest self, it is unconscious, and it persists throughout life, causing us to behave in ways that are not characterized by grace. We do this until we do the work to identify our needs and learn how to fulfill them. When we're unaware that our behaviors are motivated by our needs, it is not possible for us to respond to life's challenges with grace. It's not possible. Out of the littlest self emerge 6 coping strategies or parts of self that I call little selves, each with a different way of dealing with the urgent need to find attachment and connection, to experience unconditional love. And in our conversation about the onions, we covered these. In Julia Child's frantic attempt to learn to cut an onion, we see the full glory of the performer perfectionist. This part of self connects to seeking, or connects by seeking external validation, which thrives on what? Competition. I need to do better than others. I need to be number one. We are the champions. We were just the champions in Spain for the soccer. You should have seen the streets. Oh my goodness. And then also, thank you, John and Nancy, you talked about the judge globalizer. Is evidence, and Bill brought this up, in the male ambience of the chef class. The judge has 2 parts. When we judge, we separate. If we judge ourselves, we separate from ourselves. If we judge another, we separate from that person. You know, many of you know that I love Trevor Noah, and Trevor Noah says, racism doesn't stand up to contact. We can only separate from another if we don't have connection to that person. Although it's not captured in this clip, Julia Child encountered what Bill was talking about. She encountered judgment that was meant to discourage her from continuing her studies. The globalizer takes a little bit of information, makes it true for all time. In misogynistic culture, young boys are taught that they have a special place in certain professions and certain aspects of life, and that girls and women have no place there. That is a little bit of information that they receive as children, and it remains with them throughout their lives. Globalization.
So we'll return to the performer perfectionist and the judge globalizer shortly, so keep them in mind. Here's another film clip. What does this little boy need? And what does the woman who is filming him need? Please write down your thoughts as you watch this film clip.
Mi amor, capital de Canadá. Ottawa. Capital de Estados Unidos. Washington. Capital de México. Ciudad de México. Capital de Ecuador. Quito. Capital de Venezuela. Caracas. Capital de Bolivia. Sute. Capital de Colombia. Colombia. Bogotá. Capital de Chile. Santiago de Chile. Capital de Argentina. Buenos Aires. Capital de Paraguay. Asunción. Capital de Uruguay. Montevideo. Muy bien, mi vida. Capital de Brasil. Brasilia. Muy bien, gordo. Capital de Cuba. La Habana. La Habana, bien, gordo.
Interaction.
Ah, sorry.
Mi amor.
What did you notice? What parts of self do you notice here?
That little boy needed some praise. You
Yeah,
got this. A little clap, a hurrah, something.
yeah,
Because he's going to start dropping. He's not, I think.
yeah.
I would say he's his attention. Sorry.
Just make sure that this, okay, so.
His attention is based on not on just play. It's not just playing. It's his performance. And that's where he's getting. He's not even literally getting accolades, although he knows he's getting the answers. But that is a very limited way to praise a kid and to embrace them. Just based on what they know.
Yes.
Is also in the praise. Look what a great job I've done, or something of that sort.
Yeah.
Or look at how bright my boy is.
It's not you. It's his.
Exactly. Even the smallest thing.
And what about the woman filming him? What do you think is going on for her? What does she need?
I think she needs to develop her own life.
Well, that's a little Judge Globalizer statement there.
Yeah.
What does she actually need?
Well, she's
inside of
getting
her?
a great deal of pleasure from her son who's able to perform. So, I think that she needs to come to living whole and get out of. I don't know. I think they're locked into something. It's like my son, he's so brilliant, he can recite all these capitals. Like she's vested in his journey in a way that's probably not healthy. So I don't know.
Oh, beautiful comments. Yeah, we revisit the performer perfectionist here. This little boy is 3 years old. 3.
Yeah.
Which helps us appreciate just how young we are when we begin to develop these coping strategies. And this is really important for us to take in. We're very, very young when we develop these coping strategies to be able to address our needs. And this woman is also a performer perfectionist. She's looking for the external validation of people on the internet who will notice her film. And she put a really pretty song on there. And she gave a lot of thought to this little presentation on the internet. The intellectual is another little self, and that's also present. When a child is intellectually gifted, the adults around the child encourage learning facts and figures, like capitals of countries. This helps the child connect with good feelings of approval, which you mentioned. Another prominent little self that you were alluding to is present in the little boy, which is called the caretaker. While this may be experienced by him, as you were saying, as mainly a game, he's also connecting with the woman through the caretaker, which is a little self that offers care in an unequal power relationship. Children who have to care for adults through caretaker give themselves a way to be connected. While it looks like the little boy in this film clip is having fun in the game, we don't actually know that he is. We have no idea how many times he's had to do this, how many takes they did. We just don't know. But it's equally possible that he is responding to the woman's need to have him perform for the camera. And in this way, he's caring for her.
I would say he didn't look like he was having fun. He wasn't smiling. He wasn't laughing. He was just doing the thing, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we move on to our final film clip, which is a scene among three generations in a family: a grandmother, Emily, her daughter, Lorelei, and her granddaughter, Rory. And I'm sure this is something you've all seen on the internet or TV. Emily and Lorelei have had many years of estrangement initiated by Lorelei. They had recently become reunited. In the film clip, Lorelei was laid up with a severe back spasm on the night of Rory's first prom. She cautiously accepted Emily's offer to help take care of her while she was unable to move. Both of them anticipated the joy of watching Rory leave for the prom. Rory arranged for her date to beep the horn when he arrived so that he would not have to come into her house. So as you watch this, ask yourself, what does each person need? And please write down your thoughts as you watch the film clip.
Bye, Grandma. Where are you going? To the dance. You do not go running out the door when a boy honks.
Mom, it's fine.
It certainly is not fine. This is not a drive-through. She's not fried chicken.
But I told him to honk and I'd meet him out there. We agreed.
I don't care what you told him. If he wants to take you out, he will walk up to this door and knock and say good evening and come inside for a moment like any civilized human being would know to do.
Now, Mom, this is silly. I have met him already.
Well, I haven't.
Yeah, but
We will wait until he comes to the door.
He doesn't know he's supposed to.
He'll figure it out. He's not a very bright boy, is he?
Ooh.
Bye, Grandma.
So let's start with the grandmother, Emily. What does she need?
She needs a lot. She needs a really good psychiatrist.
Exactly. I agree. Even if it is Judge Globalizer.
I just had to get that out.
Thank you. Thank you very much, John.
I think she really wants to be included.
Mm.
Included where she isn't belong.
Good point.
Like the book, let them do what they need to do.
Yes.
I think
I
this
do
is
think
one.
she needs.
This is. Sorry, go ahead, John.
I'm sorry. I just think she's craving that she be respected.
Yeah, I agree. But I think that she needs to exhibit her own grace, inner grace, to let go and to allow her granddaughter to have the journey, trusting her to arrange it the way she needs to arrange it.
Yeah, we want to stick with what she needs.
Oh, okay.
What the grandmother?
What the grandmother needs, I guess.
Yeah. What does she need?
Maybe she needs someone to say to her, I I hear you. I understand you come from a different generation, and but this is how we're going to do it today.
Yeah, if we go to the unconditional love three-part definition, I see you, I hear you, I love you for where you are in your journey and how you're doing your journey. What does she need?
I think she needs to hear from her daughter
Yeah.
that she is way off base in a kind way and letting the girl go. She was in a situation to make this okay. And she didn't say a word.
Yeah, she's looking for external validation. Exactly. She's looking for it from the next generation down. And one of the key things in this seminar about grace is that we get really, really clear with ourselves about what our needs are. And oftentimes our needs, especially when we get into conflict in other relationships, our needs are that we want somebody else to validate us. We want somebody else to comfort us. We want somebody else to give us a sense of connection. And that's step one in terms of being able to live life with more grace, is being able to be very honest with ourselves. I'm looking for somebody else to do this for me. Right or wrong, that's my need. I need somebody else to do this for me. So, Cleo, we can go to the next slide. So we talked about caretaker before in the film with the little boy. This is another aspect of caretaker. The grandmother, Emily, offers care through caretaker, which is a little. She does so by teaching her granddaughter a lesson that she believes to be important. The caretaker shows care by creating an imbalanced relationship involving power and control. Remember, the little boy was caretaking his mom. It's an imbalance. That's what caretaker's about. It's not a balanced relationship in terms of caring. She pressures the person she cares about to succumb to her wishes. What sets us up for caring through caretaker, often it's rooted in our own sense of powerlessness, our own sense of victimhood. I need somebody else to validate me. I need somebody else to comfort me. So the little boy who recites the capitals is another example of caring from a place of powerlessness. Like the chef teacher and the students in Julie and Julia, Emily's judge globalizer is also active. When we judge, we separate. If we judge ourselves, we separate from ourselves. If we judge another, we separate from that person. Emily is judging both her daughter's parenting and her granddaughter's decision making.
Mm-hmm.
The globalizer takes a little bit of information, makes it true for all time. This is useful when we're children and we're learning lessons, especially lessons about safety. Emily's final comment about the boyfriend not being very bright, that is a classic judge globalizer statement. Classic. And as you pointed out, what Emily says is uninvited and it's unwelcome. In her judgment and criticism, she is trying to fix something that she feels is broken. And at the same time, she's disrespecting Rory's plan with her boyfriend and Lorelei's parenting of Rory. Who has something else to add about what this grandmother needs?
So my thought was that, like Sheila said about the generations, that generation after generation after generation looks back and thinks that, the way we did it was the right way.
Yes.
And now what I'm seeing is not the right way. And I would do, well, I'm not saying me personally, but that grandmother certainly wanted to roll it back so that it was the way she remembered a young man coming to the door, introducing himself, meeting the people in the home, and then going out with the young lady. Um, Interesting that the mother had already met him and she wasn't feeling anxious about her daughter going out with this young man, but it just seemed a repetition of what we all experience, generation after generation, like the way we did it was better, and this is wrong. But, you know, I, I think the young lady, the daughter, knew what she wanted and expected from her date, and that she was fine with it just the way it was. But the grandmother was obviously not fine with it. I liked that the mother was in agreement with her daughter. It's like, I've met him, and the mother didn't insist that her daughter do anything other than what was happening in that clip. But it didn't seem that unusual or that out of the box. I think it happens probably in every household that, the way we used to do it was the way. So let's get back to the way, but it's not how life is going. And by the way,
Yes.
Catherine, with grace, I just think, we need help from heaven, and we get help from heaven when we turn to our higher power and express our needs and open up to whatever answers might come. I just think the answers are there, but we just have to be receptive. So anyway, that's just a little thought on my part. Thank you.
A beautiful thought and very relevant to this whole conversation. Thank you, Beth. Your comments make me think about that saying, kids these days. Kids these
Oh, sure.
days. Well, different people have mentioned the mother Lorelei, so let's turn our attention to her. And Cleo, we can go on to the next slide. Lorelei has a couple of really interesting things going on. One is she illustrates caring through caregiver. So this brings an important aspect of the Odyssey family systems paradigm to play here. The Odyssey family systems paradigm is a parenting model. It's a no-fault model. In Massachusetts, we have no-fault divorce.
Sure.
So the way that I've structured the paradigm is there's no fault going on. And the connecting up parts of self, which caregiver is one of them, parent the little selves. So, for example, whether or not Lorelei agrees with Rory's willingness to meet her date outside after he beeps his horn, she's respecting it. And she's trying to support Rory's arrangement with him. Thus, she shows her care of Rory through caregiver, not the caretaker, that imbalanced power dynamic that Emily illustrates. The caregiver cares through respect of the sovereignty of the self, the sovereignty of the self, and the sovereignty of the other person. The caregiver cares when invited to do so and exhibits grace through respecting the other's decisions and free will. And the other thing that's going on with Lorelei, we can go to the next slide, Cleo, is the pain body. The pain body arises because our bodies energetically absorb everything around us, whether or not our minds are aware of it. And Lorelei is in a back spasm. That's the part of the reason her mother is there. And a back spasm, as Lorelei has, can be caused by a wrong move, but the body that goes into spasm during a wrong move has been set up way before the wrong move ever happened. In the film, we can feel the tension in the scene. This is partially due to a lifelong conflict that Lorelei has with her mother, plus the fact that she's in pain. So we see her giving in and allowing Emily to dominate the situation for a number of reasons. Lorelei has experienced lifelong emotional distress with her mother, causing her to create estrangement for many years. This in itself is a setup for back pain. This in itself is a setup for pain body to become activated in the form of a severe back spasm. There are other influences that can set us up for pain body. For example, if you eat a diet filled with inflammatory foods and your body's constantly in an inflamed state, then you're in a setup for disease to happen to you. If you lack a daily movement practice, your body lacks resilience, nimbleness, and flexibility. Is there anything else anyone wants to share about what the mother needs, Lorelei?
Well, she grew up with this person, her mother. This is a generational thing, and I'm guessing you can go back beyond the grandmothers to her grandmother. This is just like a family. It's stuck. They're all stuck in the same bailiwick that they can't get out of, and the only way to break it is for somebody to basically calmly state what their needs are in that situation, and they're not doing it.
Yeah, John, beautifully articulated.
I felt that too, like everybody sort of went into their corner with their arms crossed, and it kind of got like silent in a way. And maybe what Lorelei needs is courage. That Mom, I got this. To say what she needs to say.
Yes.
Instead of closing down and not speaking of what the pain is that she's feeling.
Yes, Sheila, absolutely.
I have a similar take on that same message, that I thought she needed to be the adult to do two things. One, to tell her daughter, go ahead, honey, it's fine. And then to tell her mom, I respect you're where you're at, but she's doing this and you need to stop.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it only took them a whole bunch of seasons of that show to get to that point.
I've never seen the show, so I don't know any of that.
It's the best.
So anyway, let's move on to our final character in the scene, which is Rory. Who's all dressed up, a bit nervous, excited, and headed to the prom. What does she need?
Again, more excitement. You're beautiful, honey. This is so much fun. It's going to be great. We're going to figure this out.
Yes.
Everything's going to be okay.
Yep.
So this is another part of self in the connecting up tree. It's called the collaborator. Rory needs the support, like you're saying, Sheila, in the form of collaboration with her mom and her grandmother. She needs to feel that they're on her side as she goes off to the prom. The collaborator, like the caregiver, is in this connecting up area of the parts of self who specifically parents the performer perfectionist. The collaborator's strength comes from the belief that rising tides raise all boats. and that this is in contrast to the performer perfectionist who's always looking for ways to compete with those around. The collaborator exhibits grace in the belief that all involved in any challenging situation benefit from understanding and addressing the needs of each individual.
So we've now reviewed 3 film clips and explored the needs of people who are acting through quite a few of the various parts of self in the Odyssey paradigm. Returning to this graphic of the 2 trees that describes the Odyssey family systems paradigm, you see that we have touched on 6 of the 7 little selves that comprise the little self tree. The large tree is the connecting up tree, and we discussed the collaborator and the caregiver parts of self on that tree.
Cleo, we can go ahead. The living whole flower shows you where you might choose to engage in movement, whole plant-based food, and mind, body, spirit disciplines, including energy practices and family connections and creative pursuits like art, music, writing, photography, filmmaking, thus developing the connecting up self resources.
Yeah. And given the influences of these parts of self in our daily lives, how do we manifest grace, especially in stressful situations? How do we transform our thoughts, our perceptions, mood, situations in which we find ourselves? As a first step, it helps to take a moment when we're under fire to identify our needs and how our needs are not being met. That is the usefulness of what our wise elders told us to do when they said, count to 10 before responding, or take a little walk before you react.
Some of you already talked about that earlier.
When we identify what our needs are, we have a much better chance of addressing our needs. And that will enhance our ability to respond to any situation with grace, even ones in which we feel under fire.
Let's stay on that slide for a second, Cleo, the other one. So we've talked about 6 of the 7 little selves and 2 of the 5 connecting up selves, and these are bolded on this slide. We'll describe the remaining parts of self at our next session and in future sessions, but we've included them on this slide nevertheless so that you have a complete list. Let's give you an example of little selves and connecting up selves. This one is an example that I went back and forth about whether to tell you because it's an embarrassing story for me, but I'm going to tell it anyways. Years ago, a friend of ours who's a pilot for Iberia gifted us business class tickets, my very first time in business class. And we went into the VIP lounge before getting on the plane. And because I'm vegan and I'm used to bringing food wherever I go because they never have food I can eat, I took 2 bananas from the business class lounge. And then I got on in the business class, I found out they have a lot of good food and a lot of good wine, and I forgot all about my bananas. So we get to JFK, and the bananas were in a carry-on on the floor while we were waiting for the baggage. And a dog came and sniffed out my bananas. And I got hauled off to the agricultural police. My attitude was not one that I'm proud to tell you about. I had a few choice things to say to them about many things, which, if you would have asked me later, was I rude, I would have sworn up and down and sideways that I was totally polite with them. But later, David got, through the Freedom of Information Act, the transcript of the interaction. I was anything but polite. So I tell you this embarrassing story so that I can tell you what in reflection, my needs were at the time. Because I have historically had a big issue with anybody in authority who's doing something that I regard as stupid and wasting my time. And so as I was doing this preparation for this webinar, I realized what my real need in that moment was safety. And I've got lots of history that makes safety be an issue for me. And safety with people in authority be an issue for me. And so my little selves got very, very active with those gentlemen. And it lost me my global entry and all kinds of trouble happened. So I tell you that story so that you can think about your needs when you're in a under fire situation and try to go back to what is an injury, what is a trauma, what is something that happened to me in the past that created a need in you at the time that caused you to react the way that you did. At that time, I was feeling unsafe, and my reaction was to do major judge globalizer dance with them. David, on the other hand, was super in connecting up. He doesn't have that kind of trauma history. And he was able to stand there, watch me be a jerk, and then later not even tell me that he was getting the Freedom of Information Act information. And he was just cool as a cucumber about the whole thing. So what sorts of things can you think of to share, if you feel willing to share here, where you were in an under fire situation and you were either graceful under fire or not graceful under fire, as I was not?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you, Catherine, for sharing that story, because, you know, you might be embarrassed by it, but we all have stories like that. So I just want you to know you're not alone.
Thank you.
I had a little bit of a similar story when I was coming back from Ireland, and I had bought all this jam to bring back to people. And I inadvertently put it in my carry-on luggage because it wasn't water. I thought it was fine. And, you know, and I had the option to check it, but I just figured you don't need to do that. And they pulled it all. And this was, you know, jam that I collected from the Cliffs of Moher. And I had them all pegged out who they were going to go to. And they took it away. And I was just, I don't know if I was angry. I was just so hurt. I just felt like this like surge of like, how can you take my gifts away? Like, and what's going to happen to them? This is such a waste. They took it away. I said, well, what's going to happen? They told me they were going to donate it. And then I walked around the corner and they had the same jam in the, you know, the duty-free store. And I said to them, well, this is the same jam as you've just taken from me. And they said, well, it's been tracked. And it was kind of like, it just didn't make any sense. It seemed so bizarre to me. And, you know, anyway, so, but yeah, it was a stressful situation. And I didn't, instead of saying, oh, okay, take the jam, it's no big deal in the scheme of things, I just kind of had this very strong emotional reaction.
What need did you have, Nancy?
I needed to be seen that this is like somebody who has bought jam in Ireland. You know, you know, this is like a nice memento. It might even encourage somebody to go there. And they were just, in my opinion, being stupid and rigid over nothing. Like, I was just looking for some flexibility, I guess, and some grace, maybe.
Yeah.
But, you know, they it's the rigidity that kind of makes me a little crazy. But the
Thank
good news is I've come home thinking I need to give up this idea that I need to bring jam back. I got this long history with jam and my dad and blah, blah, which I won't get into, and make my own jam at home. So I'm not always searching out the best jam. Create my own, instead of trying to find it somewhere else.
I just need to share that right there. Sounds like energetically what that was all about.
That's an interesting. Yeah.
Well, in defense of the people who took the stuff away, there might have been bombs in there. I mean, they have this kind of notion that everything liquid could be something to blow up a plane, and so they have the rules, and that's what they do.
Yes.
Nothing worse than jelly all over the place.
And I assure you that Nancy did not go off she would not start ranting and raving and swearing at him, because that's just not the way she is.
Well, I might have been doing it inside.
Inside. Yes.
But what I realized was once I left this situation, I went to the store next door, I got the jam. I was left with so much anxiety and stress about the situation that I got onto the plane, and then I was worried about, were they gonna like make me show everything that I'd bought, and there's a certain quota in terms of how much money you can spend. So I was like listing out what I bought, and I didn't have receipts. It just sent me into this spiral about, well, what else haven't I done right? And I guess it's the perfectionist thing. And then I got off the airport. Nobody asked about what I bought. I don't even think I went through customs. So it didn't seem like it made any sense in my, I was like, anyway.
It's a beautiful story that shows how the whole little self tree can get involved.
Yeah.
Once you get triggered like that.
Yes.
Getting worried about what are they going to do to me next, that gets into Judge Globalizer.
Yep.
And it gets into pain body, the anxiety, and it gets into relief seeker, and the whole tree gets involved.
Well, it was shaking like a leaf. Okay. Literally, I was shaking like a leaf over this thing, which is so stupid in the scheme of things, but that's reality. That's what was happening.
I'd like to say something that's kind of obvious. Everybody who grows up has experiences all of these things, no matter how good your parents are, because your parents are stressed out raising you, and they're going to cut corners and ignore you and do all the things. Everyone's going to come out of it with a whole bag of crap that they're going to have to. The only way to do it and resolve it is as an adult, where you look back. I'll give you one example from my family. My great grandfather ran off. This was in Russia. Ran off with a gypsy and abandoned the family. His father grew up. That would become my grandfather, who grew up and came to America and didn't have any idea what a father was, and didn't really take care of his family except with money. And then my father becomes a father with 4 boys in 6 years. And he literally had no interaction with us, because he had not seen anything and he had not dealt with it. So, and then I took it into my life and made some really bad decisions about what I was going to do until I met Nancy. And I went into that relationship saying, I have to do better than what I've done in the past. And so that's what I mean about the family,
the intergenerational,
the intergeneration, and it's in everybody. There's nobody grows up without it. That's my point.
It's a really good point. You've heard me say nobody gets out of childhood uninjured.
Yeah.
You can have the best parents, you can have the greatest advantages, but nobody can meet all of any individual's needs.
Right.
And so the work we do when we get into our adult lives is to do what we're talking about in this webinar, figure out what are my needs, and then who needs to meet them.
Yeah.
Most of the time, we're the ones that need to meet them
Right.
somehow, some way. And so we're coming up on the time when I want to turn things over to Sheila so that we can have a beautiful closing. So could we go, Cleo, to the next slide, please? This is a teaser for August 30, because we're not going to get to this part of what we had prepared for today. One of the ways that we move forward with identifying our needs and meeting our needs is through what Joseph Campbell calls the hero's journey. And I first got familiar with the hero's journey in 1977 when I saw Star Wars and learned that George Lucas, who created Star Wars, was very influenced by Joseph Campbell. So then I read The Hero with a Thousand Faces. And some of you may have already seen the new Odyssey film that just came out with Christopher Nolan. It just came out last week. So we'll work with hero's journey themes next time. And then Cleo, if you could fast forward through here to this one. So these are ideas for optional preparation for August 30. Notice your needs and your feelings, and especially when you're facing fire. What happens with your experience with grace? Bring these observations to the next session. If you're a journaler, do some journaling and bring your thoughts to the next session. Pay attention to your own hero's journey experiences, if you're at all familiar with that concept. And consider becoming more familiar with the Odyssey family systems paradigm. And then another resource that we'll be bringing in on August 30th is one of my favorite books. It's called The Book of Forgiving. It's by Desmond Tutu and Mafo Tutu, his daughter. We cannot really truly live with grace if we are not able to forgive, and especially forgive ourselves. So all of that will be what we work on next time. And we'd like to just turn things over to Sheila now.
Breathing. There's a lot to consider. And I think a little movement, a little maybe to move things around, move energy, move our emotions, come to completion. Please reach your arms out, 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 up, 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 and look up. And then turn the palms down and slowly come down, come down, come down, come down, come down by your side. Go slow. Inhale, reach, reach, up, up, up. Big breath. Look up, look up, look up. And let out a sigh and be noisy as your hands come down. Once more, inhaling, reach and reach and reach and reach and reach and reach. And bring your palms together and bring your hands down together in front of your heart and go back to that beautiful gesture of a hand at the heart and a hand to the belly that Catherine introduced to us. And let your eyes close for a moment, and recognizing that we need to tend to our own feelings with kindness, compassion, creating space to meet our life not with urgency or fear, but with great wisdom that we have cultivated along the way. This hero's journey. Let out a breath and bring the palms together again in front of your heart. Lace your fingers into steeple and slide your thumbs alongside your ears and reach way up, way up, way up high. And then lean over to your right and just have a bit of a side stretch. I like to think of making space in the body that helps to create space for the thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Inhale up, exhale over. And sometimes that's even more important than thinking, oh, we need to let it go, let it go. But sometimes we need space, we need room. And come back up to the middle. Open the arms wide. Turn the palms down. Put your hands on your lap or knees and tuck your chin. Lace your fingers behind the back of your head and curl in just a little more. And maybe a little more. Inhaling as you come up, hands laced, let your head fall back and look skyward and open the heart. What does it mean to crack open the heart? And then look forward and bring your chin down again, chin to chest. And place your hands on your knees and lift your head. And as you do, lift your shoulders and roll the shoulders back and slide them down. And do it again, inhaling, shoulders up, back, and down. And take your left hand to your right knee and give a squeeze. And then your right hand to your left knee and look over your shoulder and squeeze. And then coming back to the middle, take your hands out in front, lace together, flip the palms forward, reach those arms up one more time. And as you open the arms, give yourself a hug, a squeeze, bring your hands to your shoulders, tuck your chin, curl down. Offering for yourself this felt sense of love and caring and support. Recognize that it lives within you and it's not outside swirling around waiting for you to find it, but it's here. Uncover it. Trust it. Come back up. Come back up. Slide your hands down your arms, past your elbows and your wrists and your fingers. A little shake out. Bring your hands to your knees. Close your eyes. And simply receive the grace of space. A practice, a very short and simple practice to check in. When we experience our work together, we'll recognize that really this privilege of our lifetime is to become who you truly are. All of the great teachings say, remember who you are. It's a gift that you can offer out into the world, to your family, to your friends, your community, maybe those who you are yet to meet. Hands back together. We sometimes imagine that changing the world requires a grand gesture, but perhaps it becomes and begins much more quietly. So consider how you can take just a little bit of this information out into the world, especially asking yourself again and again, what do I need? Placing a hand over your heart and another on top of it, recognizing that when one heart changes, the world can change with it. You don't have to figure it out or analyze it, just be with it. Choose compassion over judgment and presence over distraction and love over fear. Another deep breath in, lengthen your spine, get tall and proud. Exhale audibly. Let your hands fall away and slowly open your eyes and take a look at this beautiful gallery of beautiful human beings coming together to do the work. Thank you for facilitating, Catherine, David,
Thank you.
Leo, and everyone.
Much. Thank you for that. I know we're pretty much at time, but I just wanted to say thank you all for being here with us today. It's been a wonderful chance to be together, and we hope you have a great month, and we look forward to being with you next time at the same time in your local time zone on Sunday, August 30th. So if you're not on our mailing list, please reply in the comment section with your email address, and I will include you in our weekly emails. We only send one per week, and you can unsubscribe whenever you like. Otherwise, feel free to sign off when you're ready. And for those of you who need a little more time, we will move you into the waiting room so you can decompress there. But thank you so much. And I'll just bring up Catherine and David if they want to do any final waving or any goodbyes. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for your participation, for your
Wonderful.
presence. It was a beautiful session. Loved being with all of you. You are my heroes.
Thank you all. Okay, everyone is in the waiting room. Let me deal with the recording stuff. Let's see. Recording settings.
Hi, David.
Hi,
Great to see you.
see you.
That was
Looking forward to
fabulous.
being with you in the Azores.
Okay, and now let me stop this one as well. Okay.